The third USS Murray was a Fletcher-class destroyer in the United States Navy during World War II. Murray was named for Capt.Alexander Murray and his grandson Rear Adm.Alexander Murray. Murray was laid down on 16 March 1942 by Consolidated Steel Corporation, Orange, Texas, and launched on 16 August 1942, sponsored by Mrs. Frank T. Layton. The ship was commissioned on 20 April 1943, COMDR. Richard F. Stout in command. Service history. World War II. After shakedown in the Caribbean, Murray served on escort duty in the Atlantic Ocean, then sailed to join Destroyer Squadron 25 at Pearl Harbor in September 1943. Sailing with a carrier task force, Murray took part in strikes on Wake Island 5–6 October, then voyaged to the South Pacific to support the landings on Bougainville 8–9 November, splashing 3 enemy aircraft. 2 days later, while covering U.S. Third Fleet aircraft carriers in a strike against Rabaul, Murray shot down 2 of a force of about 150 enemy aircraft attacking her formation, queuing to a demanding pace of operations. Murray was on anti-submarine patrol in the Gilbert Islands from the 20th of November to the 8th of December during the occupation of Tarawa and Abomama. Then for the next month guarded shipping into the newly acquired islands. In January 1944, Murray performed outstandingly in fire support missions for the capture of Kwajalein, then screened transports carrying invasion forces to any wet dock. 2 months of escort duty in the Western Ocean routes followed, until she joined in the bombardment of Kavieng, New Ireland, the 20th of March. Joining the 7th Fleet, Murray took part in the assault on Aitape, New Guinea, 23 to the 28th of April, downing another enemy aircraft during an aerial torpedo attack. Rejoining the 6th Fleet in June, she screened amphibious craft during the assault on Saipan, then sailed to Guam for close-in fire support and transport screening duty the 20th of July to 26th. After patrol and escort duties for the consolidation of the Mariana Islands until late in August, Murray returned to the continuing operations around New Guinea. She bombarded Wewak the 30th of August to cover British Minilang operations, and in September covered the landings on Moriatai. Returning to Hollandia, she prepared for the invasion of the Philippines, sortying in escort of the transports for Leyte. On 21 October, she conducted shore bombardment, moving in as close as reefs would allow to fire over the landing force and enemy installations, and at the same time aiding in repelling enemy air attacks. Departing the Philippines immediately after the landings, Murray overhauled at San Francisco, California. Then in January 1945 escorted a battleship division to Pearl Harbor while en route to join Task Force 58. She screened the aircraft carriers and acted as picket during the first carrier raid on Tokyo the 16th of February and attacks on Iwo Jima and the Ryukyu Islands the 26th of February to the 1st of March, sinking a Japanese picket ship about 200 miles off the coast of Japan on the 26th of February. Murray next prepared for the Okinawa operation, during which she screened battleships from submarine attack during the initial pre-invasion bombardment. Hit by a Japanese bomb the 27th of March, she retired to Pearl Harbor for repairs. While returning to the forward areas by way of Eniwetok, Murray was ordered the 2nd of July to locate, board, and search Japanese hospital ship Takasago Maru. bound for Wake Island and suspected of carrying arms or supplies contraband for a hospital ship. She located the ship the next day, but search revealed nothing in violation of international law, so the hospital ship was allowed to proceed to Wake to embark sick and wounded Japanese. Rejoining her force, now Task Force 38, Murray guarded the fast carriers in the raids against Honshu, Hokkaido, and Kyushu through the last 2 months of the war. In one of the most daring raids of the war, Murray and others of her squadron penetrated Suruga Bay, Honshu, the 30th of July to bombard the city of Shimizu, perhaps the deepest penetration of Japanese waters by any surface craft during the war. After World War II, one of the initial occupation force, Murray became the first ship in Empire waters to bring in a Japanese submarine when the enemy undersea fleet began to surrender. On the 27th of August, aircraft of TF-38 patrolling off Honshu located a submarine flying the black flag designated as the surrender signal, and Murray was ordered to intercept and take the craft into Tokyo Bay for internment. Her boarding party received the swords of I-14's officers that same day, and the submarine was escorted to the mouth of Sagami Bay. Murray was present in Tokyo Bay for the formal Japanese surrender the 2nd of September, then 3 days later sailed for the United States, and activated at Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. Murray decommissioned the 27th of March 1946, and went into reserve at Charleston, South Carolina. Korean War years. In June 1951, Murray began conversion to an escort destroyer, for which she had been designated DD-576 on the 2nd of January 1951. She recommissioned at Charleston the 16th of October 1951, COMDR. Frank L. Fullaway in command. Early in 1952, Murray began East Coast and Caribbean training operations from her home port, Norfolk. She also served periodically as plane guard during carrier qualification of Naval Aviation Cadets off Pensacola, Florida. In June 1953, she sailed for her first deployment to the Mediterranean, serving in the hunter-killer force of the 6th Fleet. Her 1954 tour was marked by an extension to northern European ports. In 1956, Murray operated with Nautilus and participated in a NATO convoy escort exercise in European waters. During much of 1956, she underwent yard overhaul, then in 1957 sailed round Cape of Good Hope for patrol duty in the Persian Gulf, the usual access to which was blocked by the closing of the Suez Canal the previous autumn. With the canal free later in the spring, she joined the 6th Fleet in Mediterranean operations through August. Between March 1958 and May 1961, Murray formed part of Task Group Alpha, an experimental development group working in anti-submarine warfare. The group usually operated off the Virginia Capes, but in the summers of 1959 and 1960 participated in the annual summer NROTC midshipman training cruises, voyaging to Canadian ports and Bermuda. 1960s. In late May 1961, Murray was one of the rescue ships stationed along the route of President John F. Kennedy's flight to Paris, then participated in that summer's midshipman cruise. Redesignated DD-576 on the 30th of June 1962, Murray rejoined TG Alpha for its development operations, which were interrupted for participation in the Cuban quarantine in October and November 1962 that forced Russian missiles out of Cuba and averted grave international international complications. At 16:33 on the 27th of October 1962, the Murray deck log contains the following entry: sonar contact bearing 212 2,000 yards. The Murray sonar gang classified the contact as a possible submarine after several hours of ping time at 2050 hours. The same date, the Murray deck log contains the following additional entry: submarine surface bearing 080 3,900 yards. 4 hours and 17 minutes after initial contact by this ship at lat. 27 to 36 N, long 65 to 56.5 W. Thus, Murray was the first U.S. Navy destroyer to gain and hold contact with the first of 3 Soviet submarines forced to surface during the Cuban Missile Crisis. After training off New England early in 1963, Murray returned to Caribbean patrols, then came north for the Midshipman Cruise. Murray sailed the 29th of November 1963 for her first 6th Fleet deployment in 6 years, visiting French, Spanish, and Italian ports before returning to Norfolk the 23rd of May 1964. She cleared Norfolk again the 8th of September for NATO Arctic operations, crossing the Arctic Circle the 21st of September and visiting Amsterdam before returning to Norfolk the 23rd of October. Decommissioned in May 1966 at Norfolk, Murray was struck from the Navy list the 1st of June 1966 and sold for scrapping to Boston Metals Co., Baltimore, Maryland, in 1966. Murray received 11 battle stars for World War II service.